My topic is traditional African religion today. The purpose of this project is to show that traditional African religion is still relevant in Africa. Many people are now aware that traditional religion is still relevant in Africa. Usually people think that Islam and Christianity are the only two religions left in Africa. Well, hopefully with this project, I hope to show that not only is traditional African religion useful and relevant, but that is also important to African society and culture. Traditional African religions were once practiced all throughout Africa. Each part of Africa had their own unique religion with the different tribes, ceremonies, and deities. Everything was going fine until the Europeans started settling as missionaries during the 19th century. They would try to convert as many Africans as they could to Christianity. While some Africans did choose to convert to Christianity, many chose to stick with their traditional beliefs and ways. However, due to the heavy colonization of many African countries by European countries during the 20th century, traditional African religion will not be practiced as widespread as it once was before. Islam also played a role in this during the East Indian Ocean slave trade. They would take African slaves and convert them to Islam by force. Like I mentioned before, the purpose of this project is to show people that traditional African religion is still relevant today, and I have a few items that will help prove my point. So let's go to the first item, which is an article by the Pew Research Center. And in this article, it discusses how many people in Africa retain beliefs similar to traditional African religions. Some of these beliefs include sacrificing animals to the gods, the powers of juju, and sacred objects. The article also includes a survey done by them, and the survey shows that more than 3 in 10 people say that they sometimes consult traditional healers when they are sick. The survey also includes 7 questions in total about beliefs common to traditional African religions and 4 questions about traditional African religious practice. As I'm just going down to show you, the survey also shows which countries have the highest amount of population practicing traditional religions. As you can see, the countries with the highest amount of population practicing traditional beliefs are Tanzania, Mali, and Senegal, while the Christian countries like Nigeria and Rwanda have the lowest. All right, the next item is another article, but this article is talking about a religious voodoo festival being celebrated in the country of Benin. And every year, this festival attracts thousands of people from all across the world. Every year, the traditions include dancing and sacrificing animals, then using their blood as offerings. But this year, they use the blood not as offerings, but as prayer for peace and calm. The reason for this is that the Oracle Fae predicted dozens of deaths after the presidential elections due to the winner not conceding the election. At the ceremony, spiritual leaders appealed to the dead in order to keep peace and hope the election process will pass in a peaceful manner. Alright, the next item is a video that I cannot show you due to the AFP not allowing it to be shown on this website. But as you can see, I have a link down below so you can go view it on YouTube. And basically, this video talks about the South African traditional healers finally being modernized after decades in the shadow. They mainly were in the shadows due to apartheid in South Africa and being heavily marginalized by the white minority. Today, tens of thousands of South African healers make a living off this practice, which involves calling on the ancestors, reading bones, and prescribing powders and roots. The popularity of these healers has put pressure on the government to formally recognize and regulate healers because sometimes their cures have been proved to be fatal. The popularity of these traditional healers also have caused imposter healers to pretend to be professional healers, and due to them not knowing the practices of these traditional healers, they cause the fatalities mentioned previously. The next item is a video from that is an excerpt from the documentary, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Igbo Gang Rite of Passage. It basically follows a traditional healer in Gabon talking about the rituals done between a healer and a patient in order for the patient to be healed. And unlike the last video, I can actually show this video on this website. So we're going to skip ahead to 307, 310. As you can see, they are pouring water with a cloth overhead in order to wash away the sins and the evil spirits around her. It's sort of similar to a baptism. And now we're going to skip ahead to 440, where they are doing a sacred dance of healing, and which involves music and various instruments. And this is in order to, like I said, rid the evil spirits of her in order to heal her. So we move on to the last item, which is a picture of religious symbol used by the Akan religion. And this religion is mainly practiced in Ghana and the Ivory Coast by the Ashanti people, the Fante people, and other ethnicities. The Ashanti is the largest and most influential group of the Akans who share common religions, beliefs, and rituals. And one of the things they do have in common are these different symbols that have different meanings. I will explain a couple of them. As you can see, this symbol right here means war horn, Akobin, and it's a symbol of vigilance and warness. And Akobin is a horn that is used to sound a battle cry. And then next over here you have, I hope I'm pronouncing right, Mir Dane, and it means time changes, and it's basically a symbol of change and life dynamics. And the last one I'll be talking about is Wawa Aba. I hope I'm pronouncing that right again. And it's the seed of the it translates to seed of the Wawa tree, and it's a symbol of hardiness, toughness, and perseverance. So in order to find these sources, I had to do a deep research, which is one of my biggest challenges, is that I would not research as heavily as I did, because if I would type in a Google search, I would basically be expected to get that specific result, and when I didn't, I was frustrated and didn't bother looking at the second page. Overall, the point and purpose of this project is to show that traditional African religion is still relevant today in Africa. And as you can see by the examples I show you, whether it be in Ghana, Gabon, Benin, and all these other African countries, that to a lot of people, traditional African religion is still an important part of their daily culture. And I think that traditional religion should start being recognized more as religions in Africa instead of the same old norm of Christianity and Islam. And thank you, and that is it for my project.